Let's be honest, is money the reason that you are saying no to living life the way that you truly want to be? If so, this is the podcast episode for you, because on today's episode of the No Bullshit Manifestation Show, we are going to be talking about why the majority of the population has a fucked up relationship with money, how that impacts the way that you will attract and manifest money into your life, and the 3 key things that you can do to start to heal your relationship with money so that you are finally able to manifest the money that you actually deserve, so that you can finally live the life that you desire. What's up, and welcome to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show, the podcast that demystifies all of the nonsense that surrounds manifestation and gives you a realistic view of what it's like to be on a personal, professional, and spiritual growth journey. I'm your host, Kat Kozad, manifestation and money mindset expert, and I'm so happy you're here. Let's fucking do this thing. If you are here listening to this episode of the No Bullshit Manifestation Show, I can imagine that you are tired of letting money, or the lack of money that you have in your life, run the show and dictate the way in which you show up in the world. And I also want you to know that you are so not alone when it comes to your relationship with money and the amount of money that you have in your life. This is hands down, out of all of the women that I have had the honor of working with and the women that I get to connect with on a day-to-day basis through social media and through the podcast, the number one thing that all of them have come to me for and have talked to me about is their relationship with money, the fucked up limiting beliefs that we are taught about money in our society, and the way in which that impacts you actually attracting and manifesting what you want into your life. And if you do not know my story already, this is something that has been so huge for me, because a little under 3 years ago, honestly, at this point. Sorry, doing the math in my head as I'm speaking out loud. Less than 3 years ago, I was $70,000 in debt, working 60 plus hours a week in a job that I absolutely hated, not making enough money, living paycheck to paycheck, and was honestly feeling like I was drowning on a day-to-day basis because of my financial circumstance. And due to healing my relationship with money and going on my intentional manifestation journey, I am now completely financially free, have complete time freedom, location freedom, manifest multiple 5 figures a month, and am living my dream life in New York City. So I want you to know that wherever you are right now is perfect. You may feel like you are too far gone. You may feel as though you are never going to get ahead in your finances, but I am here to tell you the truth is you have the power inside of you right now to create the financial circumstances that you desire for yourself. And on today's podcast episode, we're going to be breaking down how you can get started with that journey so that you can truly create the financial circumstances that you desire for yourself in your life and start to live a life that is so heart-centered and so abundant. So before we dive into that, I want to let you know that the enrollment for the Abundant AF Babe Academy is open now until the end of the month, meaning February 28th of 2023. And if you do not know what the Abundant AF Babe Academy is, this is my signature online manifestation program that has been specifically designed to help you recognize what mental, emotional, and energetic blockages you are experiencing so that you can finally eliminate those things and manifest more money, freedom, abundance, and fulfillment into your life. And after working with over 250 women and also doing this in my own life, I can tell you what we do inside of the Abundant AF Babe Academy runs so much deeper than any other manifestation program that is out there, and it will actually help you create the transformation that you are wanting to see, not only in your finances, but any area of your life that you are feeling stagnant or unfulfilled. This program is truly what I believe a one-stop shop for all and any things that you need manifestation related. And I've worked with so many women that have also said that this is literally the only manifestation program you will ever need. So if you are ready to transform your life and transform your finances with intentional manifestation, you are going to want to join the Abundant AF Babe Academy. There are very limited amount of spots left in this round of the Abundant AF Babe Academy. So if you are ready to do this, click the link down below in the show notes and you can join directly from the webpage. And if you have any questions or want to meet with me before you come on board to join the Academy, you can also click the link down below in the show notes to book in a free 30-minute consultation call where we will hop on Zoom, see each other, and chat about any and all questions that you may have. But with that being said, let's hop back into this episode. So like I mentioned, it does not have to be this way for you in your finances. You do not have to constantly be in this uphill battle towards making more, feeling like you're constantly having to work harder, you're never going to get ahead. Any of these limiting stories that the world likes to push on us. And I can tell you this from firsthand experience and also from the 250 plus women that I have worked with and coached. But from my firsthand experiences, once I really started to become aware of why money was so hard for me in the first place and why I had such a challenging relationship with it, and then was able to heal that relationship with money, money has effortlessly come into my life ever since. Like sometimes I'm almost like, holy shit, is this a dream? The way in which it has become easy for me now within my finances and with money, but it's not, because at the end of the day, all of it comes down to this intentional manifestation piece and the beliefs that we are putting in place for ourselves. So before we dive into how to actually heal your relationship with money, let's talk about why most people have a fucked up relationship with money in the first place. So odds are, if you are a human being on planet Earth, you have limiting beliefs about money. And the reason this is because the world teaches and preaches money from such a lack-minded position. They teach it in this way where the narrative around money is based in fear, scarcity, and lack. Where we're taught to believe that money doesn't grow on trees. Money doesn't buy you happiness. You're going to have to work hard for your money. It's going to be an uphill battle. It's going to be a struggle. Money is the root of all evil. Rich people are greedy. Whatever the limiting beliefs may be, this is the lens in which majority of people have learned money from. And because we have been given this old, outdated, false narrative about money, our subconscious minds, being formed between ages 0 to 7, pick up these beliefs from the people that we're surrounded by growing up, whether that be your parents, primary caregivers, friends, teachers, media, society, the town that you grew up in, the city that you grew up in, the environment that you are in, and the way in which you saw money. And based off of those things, as an adult, you will continue to subconsciously manifest money based off of those beliefs that you were given. So looking back for yourself right now, just taking this moment and reflecting on, were you handed a supportive and healthy narrative surrounding money growing up? Were you handed a narrative that made you feel as though there was possibility that you could be abundant, that you could be rich, that you could have the financial circumstances that you desire? Or were you handed a very limited narrative? Were you handed a narrative that was based in fear and scarcity and lack? Did you witness things growing up where it felt as though money was at the core of it and causing all of these problems? Because if that is your reality, that means that you have limiting beliefs surrounding money, and those limiting beliefs, no matter how hard you consciously try to move past them, are still running the show on the subconscious level. And this is something that I like to share for any and everybody who's not in the financial circumstance that they desire to be in yet. If you are not there yet, that means that you have some sort of limiting belief surrounding money. And that's not something to feel overwhelmed by. That's not something that I say to be daunting. that is something to literally just create this awareness of the fact that if you're listening to this podcast episode, you probably have limiting beliefs about money. I bet you 99% of us have these limiting beliefs about money. And again, it doesn't have to be this way. And so before we dive into how you can actually start to heal this relationship with money and change the way in which you manifest money into your life, I first want to talk about how these limiting beliefs impact the way that you will attract and manifest money into your life. So I want to give you a few different examples. Overall, when we look at money manifestation, if you have limiting beliefs surrounding money, you are going to experience like vibrational energy in your finances. So what do I mean when I say that? So if you are constantly replaying this narrative of feeling fearful about money, feeling scarce around money, feeling worried, feeling like there's never enough, whatever it may be, that is the energy that you are emitting out into the universe. And by the law of attraction, you are going to attract back in like vibrational experiences, which will typically show up through not making the money that you desire to make, or receiving unexpected bills, receiving unexpected financial circumstances, having different things play out where you have to spend money that you maybe don't necessarily have, whatever it may be. So I want you to know that with money, every single time you interact with it, that is an energetic exchange. And when I say interact with it, I mean every single time you talk about it, think about it, spend it, save it, give it away, whatever it may be, that is an energetic exchange. And that energetic exchange, again, is going to determine how you then attract and manifest money back into your life. So a few different examples is if you are at the grocery store and you have so much anxiety before you swipe your credit card, that anxiety is the energetic exchange that you are having with money, and that is the way in which you will then manifest money back into your life in these moments of anxiety, or you will see more and more anxious moments play out with your finances because that is what you are receiving back by the law of attraction. Same with if you believe that rich people are greedy, you then maybe will be freely giving away, just putting all of your money out there for different people, for all of these different circumstances, because subconsciously you do not want to be perceived as greedy. So although you may not have the money, you freely give it away and put yourself in a harmful or unsupportive financial circumstance because of that belief of wanting to be a good person, but thinking that rich people are greedy. Another example of this could be the belief that you must work hard in order to make more money. So you work your ass off. You work day in, day out to literally just live paycheck to paycheck. But the reality is that if you were to end up in a job or a position where you didn't have to work as hard, there would be this subconscious resistance to doing that job or believing that it was possible to make that kind of money within doing it, because there's this subconscious belief and this energetic exchange that you have created for such a long time surrounding money being something that has to be hard for you. So this is the way in which our limiting beliefs play out in our day-to-day lives through the relationship that we have had with money thus far in our lives. And again, if you find yourself in the place where you feel unfulfilled by your finances, you feel that scarcity, you feel that lack, you feel that fear, you feel that worry, it doesn't have to be this way. And this is where starting to do the healing work, healing your relationship with money, is going to be so key for you. So let's dive into 3 things that you can do right here and right now to start to heal your relationship with money. So first key thing is identifying your current money story. And this is a step that is often missed out on when it comes to the manifestation process, because it's the most uncomfortable part of the manifestation process. But in order for us to change what we need to change in our lives, we first have to become aware of it. I always like to say we can't change what we're not willing to recognize, or we can't change what we are unaware of. So you becoming aware of what your current money story is. What are the beliefs that you were given growing up? How did you see your parents interact with money? How did they talk about money? Did they have fights about money? Were there any circumstances that you experienced growing up that it felt as though money was at the core of and creating issues in your life? Go back and look at the way in which you perceived money growing up and what narrative you were handed around money, because once you can identify the core and the root of where your money beliefs stem from, then you can see how that money story has evolved over time, or if that money story has evolved over time. And looking at your life right now, like, do you engage in conversations where you're constantly talking shit about money? Do you always talk about how things are so expensive these days, or you can't have what you want because of money, or you have that anxiety when you're at the grocery store, or whatever it may be surrounding your relationship to money? Becoming aware of those things is going to do so much for you then being able to shift and change it, because without identifying this, it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid over a bullet wound and not doing the healing work to understand where these less than ideal beliefs, less than ideal habits, less than ideal emotions are coming from in the first place. And those underlying emotions, beliefs, and behaviors will continue to run the show, even if you are consciously trying to create the change. So you must, first and foremost, identify your current money story, even if it is incredibly uncomfortable. It is safe for you to dig up the past. It is safe for you to identify these different things that have been creating this unsupportive relationship with money, because only in the exposure of those things can you actually shine light on them and alchemize them into something else. Which then ties us into your second key component of healing your relationship with money, which is healing those limiting beliefs and healing the money trauma. So when it comes to the actual healing process of releasing limiting beliefs and releasing the trauma that you hold around money, there's so many different ways to approach this, and I believe there's not a one-size-fits-all, and that's why inside of the Abundant AF Babe Academy, I give you literally every single healing modality that I have, because what works for one person may not work for another. But what essentially the process of this looks like, and I like to use this analogy a lot, so if you listen to the podcast, you've probably heard me say this before, but the actual healing process, the way that I like to imagine it, is essentially if you had a garden. Right now, if you haven't done any healing work on your limiting beliefs surrounding money, then your garden is full of weeds. And instead of walking around the garden trying to trim the weeds down by reciting positive affirmations to yourself, or meditating, or forcing positivity, or whatever it may be, yes, that may work for a short amount of time. You may feel a little bit better because you are trimming those weeds down, but ultimately, because the roots of those weeds still live underneath the ground, they're going to continue to grow back. So where the actual healing work comes into place is identifying where that root comes from in the first place. What was the experience? What was the belief? What was the relationship with the person or the thing that made you believe that thing in the first place? And clearing that weed out, that root out on the energetic, emotional, and mental level. So within all of this, this is exactly what we do inside of the Abundant AF Babe Academy, is help you actually clear it out on the mental, emotional, and energetic level, because it's not just reciting a new belief to yourself. It's not just saying these affirmations or recognizing it and then being like, okay, I can move on from this. It's actually releasing that belief from your physical body and from the trauma that you have experienced due to it. So in the Abundant AF Babe Academy, we dive deep into the actual trauma work surrounding your belief systems, where you physically purge it from your body through somatic healing. And this is something that, whether you choose to join the Abundant AF Babe Academy or not, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you do it with a trained somatic healer, because trying to do this work on your own for the first time or at any point is incredibly daunting. And again, I don't say that to scare you. I just say that to be real, and I say that to be ethical, that it is most safe and most effective for you to work on healing your money trauma and these deep-rooted limiting beliefs with a trained professional. So again, if you do feel called to the Abundant AF Babe Academy, you can click the link down below in the show notes to join this upcoming round of the Abundant AF Babe Academy. Enrollment is closing on February 28th, or whenever the spots fill up, whichever comes first. So if you know this is something that you need, I highly suggest you hopping on board and becoming a part of the Academy. But third step to this, after recognizing what your current money story is and then doing the inner work to heal those limiting beliefs and clear out the money trauma that you have experienced, our third thing is creating an abundance mindset and embodying a greater level of wealth. So this is the fun part. And this is the part that most manifestation teachers out there and most manifestation resources will have you skip to immediately before you do the work to clear out the shit that has been standing in your way in the first place. So in step 3 of healing your relationship with money, you want to become crystal clear on your vision of what being the next level and wealthier version of yourself looks like. Because from creating that vision, you can start to identify what belief system it is that you want to adopt and then embody on a daily basis. So an example of this, and this is something that I talk about a lot of the time, is when I first started my intentional manifestation journey, when I was in $70,000 in debt, working 60 plus hours a week, not making enough money to survive. My next level, wealthier version of myself is not who I am now. This has been a gradual climb to get here, because if I would have just tried to shoot for who I am right now, it wouldn't have felt realistic. It wouldn't have felt doable. It wouldn't have felt safe. And safety, subconscious safety, is hands down the most important thing that we need throughout our manifestation journey, because without it, we will sabotage our manifestations or we just won't even act on it in the first place, because our nervous system hasn't been calibrated to be able to experience that yet. So what I like to talk about is the ladder of believability and creating a vision for yourself that is a stretch, but it still feels as though on a subconscious level, that's something that you can recognize and see it as quote unquote doable. So when I was in that position, my next level version of myself was the successful online coach that was making at least $10,000 a month. And so from that vision, I was able to identify what beliefs I would have about myself, what beliefs I would have about money, what beliefs I would have about work and the way that I show up in the world. I could identify the emotional state that I believed I would be in on a day-to-day basis. I could identify the way that I would walk and talk and show up for life. And then it was my duty on a daily basis to show up as that next level version of myself before there was any physical evidence of that being the right thing to do. Because manifestation is an inside journey first. You must cultivate the belief, the emotion, and the energetic signature of who you're becoming internally before the world reflects it back to you and manifests the physical evidence in your experience. So living this internal experience, feeling that abundance, knowing that that gets to be your reality before there's anything in the external world that proves it to you and says, yep, you can feel this way, which is very counterintuitive to how we've been conditioned to act and operate in our world today. But again, this is so necessary for you to truly get into the state of embodiment, because that is the secret sauce for manifestation, is you becoming the embodiment of that next level version of yourself who already has it, who doesn't put it on a pedestal, who doesn't see it as this far off thing, who doesn't think it's this like unattainable thing that she'll never really get to. You becoming and embodying the version of yourself internally, the you who already has it, the you has already normalized it, that is the key. And again, that is your third step to really shifting your relationship with money and being able to attract and manifest more of it into your life. So just to recap those three things for you, first one is identifying your current money story. Second is healing your limiting beliefs and money traumas, which again, I highly suggest doing with a trained expert, because doing it on your own can be a very slippery slope. And third is creating an abundance mindset and embodying a greater level of wealth. And I know I've already said it, but this is exactly what I teach you inside of the Abundant AF Babe Academy. And this is the work that will not only transform your finances and the way that you're attracting and manifesting money into your life, but completely transform any and all areas of your life that you do not feel fulfilled with. So if you know that this is for you, if you're ready to take that leap, click the link down below in the show notes to join the Abundant AF Babe Academy. Like I said, there are limited spots left in the academy right now, and enrollment is closing on February 28th of 2023. So now is your time to act. As soon as you join the program, you have instant access to the academy. So you have instant access to your transformation and creating this powerful change in your life. So that is what I have for you on today's podcast episode. I hope it was helpful, and I will chat with you on the next one.